Hi everyone, my name is Sally Alada and I'm the founder of Agility Health. I'm excited to share with you a little bit about the upcoming Enterprise Business Agility Summit and the Roadshow. But first, let me tell you what is it that we do. We are extremely passionate about helping our large enterprises accelerate their enterprise business agility journey by measuring what matters. As we've worked with many amazing customers, we've learned that there's a lot of common challenges, and the good news is there's some common patterns and solutions that are emerging. Let's start with the challenges. What we hear most commonly is enterprise planning is painful. There's a lot of demand, there's not enough capacity, there's competing business priorities, shared service teams are feeling overwhelmed because they feel like they're the bottleneck. A lot of the team design has not been optimized, there's so many dependencies and handoffs. The other thing that we hear is teams are burning out. They're telling us that they're working at an unsustainable pace. There's a huge focus on output and features and initiatives and delivering work, but many teams will say we don't know if what we're getting done is actually valuable and what is the outcome. The last thing that we also hear is leadership. So leadership and management is still using a very traditional style of top-down, of being very directive, of still making decisions at the higher level and not moving decisions down, and it's really creating a lot of impediments for the teams. So let's shift over to some of the solutions and the patterns that we're seeing. The good news is, one, we're starting to see many companies move from output-based planning to outcome-based planning. Instead of focusing on initiatives and features and stories and work and tasks, we are starting to think about what are the outcomes at the strategic level, what are the objectives, what are the key results, and aligning all of the teams at every level of the organization to outcomes. 3-year outcomes, 1-year outcomes, and quarterly outcomes. The other trend is really the design of virtual teams. What I mean by that is, instead of organizing all of your teams with who reports to who, you're actually taking all of the teams that need to come together to deliver an outcome. Some people refer to that as a value stream, or you can just think about it as a virtual team design. Again, business teams, technology teams, back-end, front-end, operations, it doesn't matter. Who are all of the right teams that need to work together to really accelerate the flow of outcomes? Another pattern is the formation of LPM teams, lean portfolio management teams. What we have seen is that we've started to get really good by adopting Agile at planning at the team level and the team of team level, but the layers above, the portfolio and the enterprise planning, is still very traditional and old. So lean portfolio management teams can start to plan, yes, yearly, definitely we want the yearly outcomes planning, but we also need quarterly planning at the portfolio level. There is the formation of discovery teams. Why do we need discovery teams? Discovery teams, or the discovery practice within existing teams, is really making sure that we are validating the ideas before we implementing. So delivery teams, discovery, even portfolio teams are all starting to learn design thinking, lean startup, and how do we make sure that what we're building is actually what the customer wants. I have one customer that shared with me recently that they did an analysis and they found that 80% of the features that they were sending to the teams to deliver were not discovered, which means that those were just ideas. They were just somebody's idea. And that is why the teams are overwhelmed, because the initial intake process is just overwhelming. One of my famous quotes here is, if you want flow, you have to stop the flooding. We can't be flooding in features when we want it to flow. The other pattern that we're seeing is a focus on leadership agility. Leadership agility means beginning to shift the way that we lead and moving it into the new way of working at every level of the organization. And this has to start from the top. It really, we've done a lot of leadership agility workshops with the managers in the middle layer, and they all say, if my leaders above don't believe in this, if they're not going to behave this way, if they're not going to change to more of an empowerment, then how are we supposed to implement that? So leadership agility is something that really transcends the entire organization, top to bottom, within every line of business. There's also a big focus on talent development and building capacity, internal capacity and talent, and building competencies. And most importantly, measuring what matters at every level of the organization and creating a culture of continuous improvement. Those are the highlights of the top patterns. I hope that you will come to one of these sessions. Either you can come to us at the EBA Summit in September, or there's multiple cities where we're hitting the roadshow with our amazing partner Solutions IQ for this one. So we'd love to meet you there. We want this to be very practical. So after you register, we want you to complete this EBA assessment. It's an enterprise business agility baseline assessment. You can complete it yourself just as an individual, or better was probably to send it to another 6 to 10 other people within your line of business and have them kind of do a quick assessment, so that when you come in, you have 3 real world challenges related to the topics that I just shared, and we really want you to leave with 3 world solutions. So I hope to see you there, and I hope you have an amazing experience with us, get to network and meet some of your other peers. See you soon.